Welcome to The Thing About Austen, a podcast about Jane Austen's world. I'm Zan.
And I'm Diane, and this episode we're talking about Austen Con 2021. We are so excited to welcome our guest, Sharmini Kumar, who will be joining us for our discussion about Austen Con 2021. Sharmini is the founder and artistic director of 24 Carat Productions, a production company based in Melbourne, Australia. She has written, directed, and produced many performance pieces, short films, and radio documentaries. Sharmini loves Austen's humor and wit, and particularly likes to explore issues that are not often highlighted in adaptations of Austen's work. Her side gig, as she so charmingly puts it, is working as a medical doctor.
Just casually throw that in there for us.
Just casually throw that in there. So welcome, Sharmini.
We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we know that we are headed right into Austen Con. It's coming right around the corner. So before we talk about this year's specific Austen Con, can you talk to us a little bit about how Austen Con started? What was the inspiration and impetus for starting this con?
Yeah, so I'm not a massive Comic-Con person, but we do have something similar here in Australia. And some friends of mine and I, we'd just finished a show that was about Austen, and we'd attended this kind of event, and there was, dancing and stuff like that. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if you could have a whole event that was sort of like you had the dancing and you had all that other stuff, but it was a bit more like Comic-Con, where it was a bit more kind of had lots more different stuff kind of going on as well. And that was when we had the idea to do it. My friend just sat on Google on her phone for a little while and just went, nobody's running any events anywhere in the world called Austen Con. We could take that.
Ooh.
And I went, that if you say things like that to me, I'm going to do it, right? And so then we did.
Excellent.
So how do you go about organizing such a large event? Specifically, what are the considerations in terms of programming and content? How are you putting all those pieces together? I'm thinking especially in the early days, you could basically do anything. So how do you decide what you want it to be?
Yeah, so we knew we wanted to have a mix of different kinds of events. So we knew we wanted to have talks and sort of more academic, but kind of in quote marks. But yeah, there's stuff to think about. Here's something to think about. But also different things like Regency era craft and dancing and stuff like that. So the whole spectrum. So it's always been about getting a balance of those kinds of things. And always been for me as well about trying to get a balance of input that is from a perspective that you don't often get or don't always get with Austen. So getting people of colour, getting LGBT perspectives, getting some different kind of thoughts and input into what Austen means and how we interact with Austen now. So those are the considerations that we have while planning it. And then we reach out to a bunch of people, and recently we've started doing calls for proposals. Yeah. And the other thing we kind of look for as well is the capacity in the session to be able to do something that's both a little bit kind of actiony or doing things as well as thinky, something to think about as well.
I love that the focus of some of the sessions that I've seen, coming up for this year's program. I love how it's exactly like you kind of mentioned, the range of topics that are being discussed and the topics themselves in terms of we have one that's talking about Mr. Darcy as a neurodivergent character. I know that you are presenting with one of your colleagues on the East India Company, and those are things that are so relevant to Austen's world, but that just kind of fly under the radar. And so I love the concept behind this.
It's not necessarily about imposing something new onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about kind of actually discovering what's in there.
Exactly.
That hasn't always been to the attention of people who have been into Austen since Austen did her thing. Yeah, and maybe, definitely a slightly modern lens. Obviously, the term neurodivergent wasn't invented back then.
But it sure existed.
Absolutely.
These aren't new concepts.
No, exactly.
It's just they're getting the right kind of airtime, I think, now.
Yeah, that's kind of what we want to do with it, is to get more people to engage with those kinds of ideas and to get more of those conversations happening around Austen and I mean, not just Austen, but the way we approach historical fiction and fiction in general. Absolutely, yeah. Even pamphlets that you'll be talking about, that's a way that women often were able to get their ideas out into the marketplace. So it really touches on ideas about feminism. And we kind of think about Austen often as female, like it's coded as being women's fiction or women's stories, which, you know, it's largely about women by a woman. So that's fair enough in one sense, but not often feminist in that kind of sense. So exploring the spaces where women were able to assert themselves, for example, by pamphleteering, is that the right word?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is interesting to me. And, you know, one of the reasons we were excited about your talk proposal. I mean, also scandal is fun, you know.
Oh, well, you know, who doesn't like a good scandal, really?
Absolutely.
I mean, and that has part of been why, for me, been just so fun to see everybody getting into Bridgerton and just like, oh, look, all these things I've always been interested in, and now they've gone totally mainstream, and it's quite lovely to see that. I'm like, yes, everybody get on board this train.
Yeah. And I think Bridgerton, I kind of think of Bridgerton as a start in terms of representation and understanding that world. I think there's more to be said about women, about race, about class,
for sure.
You know, all of that stuff in that era. So if it's an in, fabulous.
Right. Yeah, the amount of work that Bridgerton has done for Georgian studies, for Regency studies, for Jane Austen, it's been like a really positive, like you say, starting point. I mean, the work isn't done, but it's been such a wonderful mainstream platform to kind of build from, because we don't have to do the same kind of legwork, because there's now a cultural reference point for just the mainstream.
Well, we don't have to do the legwork just in terms of getting some people interested who in the past would have been like, ugh, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, and can I interest you in this book called Sense and Sensibility?
Yeah.
And then they may very well be like, oh, this is quite different from the Netflix show. And it's like, yes, but.
So what are your kind of larger goals for the con? And what do you hope that people who attend Austen Con take away from the event?
We want to try and build the audience that we have. And ideally, we want to make this like San Diego Comic-Con one day.
Excellent. I'm in.
I mean, that's like a 5 to 10 year goal. But we want to give people a great time. So that's first and foremost, is we want to give people a great time. And there is fun stuff to do. I'm not sure if I should be saying this. I'm going to say it anyway. Spoiler alert. We have just had delivered a life-size cardboard cutout of Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm so disappointed that we won't be attending in person.
In person, right?
We can Photoshop, don't you worry.
Good.
And we've got like, you know, I'm just currently organising actors to do different Austen characters to do like a speed dating game where people can meet and spend 5 minutes at a time with different Austen characters.
I love it.
Ask them whatever within reason, you know. So you know, first and foremost, we want people to have fun, right?
Right.
And we also want people to, in my mind, there's like two kinds of Austen fans. There's like the kind of I love the world kind of people, the people who love to dress up and do the dancing and maybe get into some sewing and stuff like that. And then there's people who like to kind of read all the academic articles about it and maybe think about all the different, you know, aspects of it from all the different angles. And I kind of want those people to meet each other and maybe find out some of the other sort of fun stuff about the way that the other people interact with Austen, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, so it's designed to be like a community making kind of event and community gathering around Austen to facilitate those kinds of conversations, if that makes sense.
So really the whole event is like friendship speed dating is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
What are you kind of most looking forward to with this year's con? I mean, Colin Firth cut out.
It's a highlight already.
It is definitely a highlight. And it's like 6 foot. It's incredible.
Excellent.
I think what I'm really looking forward to this year is being able to get people online, interacting with people in real life and fostering some of those conversations like literally across the globe. Yeah, being able to do like a live stream like with you two from America, with people from Australia asking you questions, and then you like judging the pamphlet competition, like across continents. That to me is really exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Being able to do that in person, like having some people gather and be able to dance in the same room as each other. I think Regency dancing is so great for a pandemic because it's like socially distant. You kind of keep 1.5 meters away from your partner, you know?
I love it.
And it's still super scandalous. But still being able to involve people from overseas, like in real time. That is what I'm really looking forward to.
Can you talk to us a little about the other work you've done with 24 Karat Productions, especially as regards adapting Austen?
24 Karat actually started with an Austen adaptation officially. So I'd been doing theatre and things for years. And then around the 200th anniversary of Austen's death, I was talking to somebody and about an idea I had for a Persuasion adaptation, and we were offered a small commission to help that go ahead. And then I was like, you know what, this should be a real thing that we do. So that was an adaptation of Persuasion. After that, we started Austen Con, and we decided that every year we would do an Austen adaptation. So we've done Persuasion, Pride and Prejudice, which wasn't strictly a musical, but went into a sort of ancient Greek theatre thing, and we had like a chorus and had some songs through it. Then we did a P&P in 5 years, so 5 years down the track from Pride and Prejudice.
Excellent.
So like a little reunion of that, and that was a lot of fun. Then last year for the pandemic, we did an online thing, and it was like a modern online class about Emma, the novel, but some of the characters from the novel were in the class.
Oh, okay.
I love it.
Yeah. It really meant that you could kind of you could really put contemporary people literally in conversation with the novel because the characters from the novel were in it.
Oh, that's a fun concept.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and obviously we could do it in lockdown, which was how we did it last year. So this year we had been planning a full musical of Sense and Sensibility, but for unable to rehearse in person reasons, that's been put off to next year.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to look for. Well, it's been put forward to the start of next year, because the thing that I've been thinking about in terms of Austen adaptations is I've been trying hard to push conversations in them about class, about gender, about the way that Austen approaches what we would now call feminism, about race. And even if we were to sort of, colorblind cast or color conscious cast, it's not the same thing, I don't think, as writing a piece that actually deals with
it overtly. Yeah.
Exactly. So my plan for next year for the Austen Con piece is a Mansfield Park adaptation where Fanny is biracial. Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that, and it's great to talk about issues around what happens to the servants in these cases, and what is the relationship in Sense and Sensibility to the East India Company. That's one of my little obsessions, and in Persuasion, the relationship between the Navy and slavery and that kind of stuff like that. But when it's actually a person in the cast, I think that makes it a big difference.
I think you're absolutely right that putting it literally on the stage makes a big difference, right? That it's not peripheral. It's something that is central to the way that the concept works, the story works.
Yeah, so just in trying to, it's an evolving process for me and for our company to think about how we do that and how we bring different voices and perspectives. And with P&P and 5, we had, this is a spoiler for the play, but we had Kitty revealing that she is attracted to women. And what does that mean in that time and place? It means you can't marry the person of your choice or be sort of out in that way, but that just discussing what that means and how you would navigate that. And then trying to bring those conversations, like with Sense and Sensibility. We have a friend of Brandon's who he met in India that's come into the conversation to discuss a lot of those things, but again, a peripheral character. And so with Mansfield Park, trying to make that issue a little bit more central in the main character. And it's not far-fetched in terms of Austen's world. Like her father, they live in Portsmouth, and there were so many sailors from India because of the shipping trade with the East India Company that would sort of dump all these Indian sailors there and take a whole lot of different people back over. So it's not far-fetched in terms of what the story could actually be.
Absolutely.
There's such a booming industry and trade, right, for Austen retellings, and the ones that I find most interesting are the ones that, like you are doing, I think do some more interesting things with the dynamics, with the cultural context.
And do we not all want to see Henry Golding in the adaptation of Persuasion?
Oh my gosh. Zan has already had to listen to me, basically, I can't breathe, And
I'm very sympathetic to this, full-on anticipation, so excited.
Yes. Although I'm still a bit how is he not the Wentworth?
How is he not Wentworth? He's Wentworth material, though, right?
Is this going to be a full retelling where we're all, as an audience, thinking, I don't know, man, you should have married your cousin because...
Because he's Henry Golding?
I now feel like we're being quite unfair to the actor who's been cast as Wentworth, but the heart wants what it wants, and my heart wants Henry Golding, so...
And you are not alone.
I think it's because, too, of course, like one of the first still images we have is him, the full period dress, sitting in that chair, just looking like he's handsome and he knows it, which is not a vibe I'm always into when it comes to a character. But with him, it really works for me.
Yep.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But maybe it'll be the thing. I feel like there's some kind of something in the universe where I feel like if you get cast in one Austen adaptation, you will now be cast in like 14
again.
Austen adaptations. So maybe he will be like a Darcy or a Colonel Brandon or something for us someday.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
He could be a great Mr. Knightley. You know, I think these are all good options.
Yes. Like, is there a lead where he doesn't fit?
He could probably pull it all
Pretty
off.
much any of them, right? Like, because I was in my head, I was like, Tilney. Yep, Tilney.
Thank you for coming to the Henry Golding fan cast.
But see, even just the fact that we have gone off for like 5 minutes on Henry Golding, this is why we need more of these like really exciting casting choices, really exciting ways of retelling the story.
I'm just kind of interested too in what they're going to do with that, because initially when I thought they'd cast Henry Golding, I jumped to the assumption, as all of us did, that of course he would be Wentworth. And then I was like, oh, that's really interesting to have like a connection with East Asia, and he's a captain, and then I saw it being cast as Mysterio, and I was like,
it could have worked for sure.
It could totally have worked, right? In terms of like making that fit the story and actually saying something about, you know, the global trade in Austen's time, and saying something about the multiculturalism of Britain in Austen's time and all of that kind of stuff.
And while we're talking about this, slightly off subject, but it's just one of those things that is like always in my heart, and I feel like I need to put it out into the universe more often. All I want is a Pride and Prejudice adaptation with Dev Patel as Mr. Bingley. Like, that is at the very top of my list. That is at the top of my wish list. I just feel like he is the perfect Mr. Bingley.
Yeah. If I may add to that,
please,
with John Boyega as Mr. Darcy.
Okay, yes, please.
Dream casting has been handled.
I can see them as besties. I can see that dynamic.
Yeah, I'm in. Call us Hollywood. We've got ideas. So what would you like our listeners to know about Austen Con or 24 Karat Productions or any of the work that you're doing? Like, what's kind of like the big takeaway that you would want our listeners to know?
That you should come.
Agreed.
That it is online, so it is accessible for people all across the world, and we will have the videos available for 2 days a week, something like that afterwards, so you won't miss out, even though we are technically in Australia in your future.
That's right.
And that we're interested in Austen. We do lots of other stuff too, so not all our work is Austen related, but it's stuff that we try to make accessible. It's stuff that we try to make fun. It's stuff that we try to maybe also have a little bit to say about women, about history, about people of colour, about marginalised communities. But it's not like homework, you know?
Right.
This stuff is fun. Yeah, that's kind of what I want people to know.
Well, where can people find you online, find information about the con online, buy tickets for Austen Con, all of that?
Our website is 24caratproductions.com. So 24, the number, 24, carrot like the vegetable. Yes, it is a pun. I think I'll be only be apologising for that forever, but yes. 24caratproductions, all one word, .com. We also have an Instagram, and there is a separate Instagram for Austen Con, which is just Austen Con, C-O-N, all one handle, where you'll be able to see information about some of our lovely presenters, including the two of you, which we're very excited for. Is it a super inconvenient time for you? It's actually not too bad. Late in the evening.
No, it'll be fine.
Okay.
Better than us having to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, because I believe somebody is presenting at like 11 p.m. their time, which on a Friday night, which is a bit harsh. Yeah, Sam Hurst is going to be talking about the Gothic stuff, and they're just super knowledgeable about that.
Well, 11 p.m. is a perfect time to be talking about the Gothic, I think.
This is also true. I had not thought of that. Yeah. And in the Northern Hemisphere, it'll be dark and spooky. So actually, that works really well. Yeah, okay. Great. I'm not going to feel bad about that one anymore.
It was intentional, very deliberate.
Absolutely. Totally intentional. And people will be able to participate even on Zoom, working super hard to make everything available to get involved with the crafts and stuff like that. We're doing Zoom sessions with our speed dating game. Don't you worry.
Oh, good.
You will still be able to meet Mr. Collins online. Don't you worry.
Thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
Thank you again to Sharmini Kumar for joining us for this discussion. You can find out more about Austen Con 2021, as well as Sharmini's additional projects at 24caratproductions.com. Additionally, the 4th annual Austen Con will be happening Saturday, the 6th of November, 2021. And you can check out the program and purchase tickets at 24 Carat Productions as well. Online access to the con is only $20, so we'd love to see you there.
You can find us on Instagram at The Thing About Austen and on Twitter at Austen_things. And we just wanted to say that we are so appreciative of all the support for the podcast. So we wanted to start sharing some of the very kind 5-star reviews we've been receiving on Apple Podcasts. Sarah from Arizona had this to say: I have found my people. Thank you so much for doing this podcast. This is exactly the kind of Austen content I've been looking for. My nerd heart is so happy. Aww. And that just makes our nerd heart so happy.
Yes. And join us next week when we talk with our guest, Dr. Lynn Festa, about Harriet's Riddle Book.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.